If you're someone who doesn't like to go out and do anything ever and you're really introverted, I completely understand why. Now, while it might be psychological to some people, for me it feels like life has gotten so expensive that every time I leave the house, it feels like I spend 50 to 100 bucks. Literally every time I leave the house, if I'm gone for more than an hour, I'll need to spend money somewhere. Maybe I need to get a coffee. Maybe I need to run some errands, get some groceries. Or maybe I'm out long enough and I'm like, you know what, screw it, I'll grab some food, grab some lunch. Next thing you know, you're down like $40, $50 because of inflation and how insanely expensive it is. Just the day-to-day life now, it feels like. It's getting to the point now where I have to resist looking even at my phone because then there's other impulse buys you can do, right? It's not just leaving the house. You have technology that can let you spend money on apps like Whatnot, right? So think about this. Oh my God, these type of sites are going to prey on the mentally weak because you don't really put two and two together sometimes when you're spending a lot of money on something online like a show, a live stream or something like that. You don't realize that it's not tokens you're spending, right? This is actual money that's coming out of your bank account, right, out of your credit card. And because of that, it means it's so easy to spend money. So it's not even just leaving the house that makes life so expensive. It's just modern technology combined with a feeling of doom. And sometimes people spend money to make themselves feel good, right? It's a dopamine rush sometimes when you spend money. And obviously you deal with the consequences of that later on. But just with the rising cost of everything right now, including gas prices, which is obviously a method to transport goods to stores, you pay the cost of that. Even just the fuel costs that goes into food production here in places like Canada, that leads to inflation as well. And then there's the tipping culture on top of that, the iPad tipping culture, which is insane. It used to be kind of, bougie coffee shops, you'd have the option to tip, and it was kind of odd back then, even when that was introduced, because normally you'd only see this type of thing at a bar, maybe at a restaurant too. But now, everywhere you go, it feels like there's money being siphoned out of you any way possible, right? I'm surprised at this point that McDonald's hasn't done that yet. Let's say eventually employees at McDonald's are furious and upset about their wages, which they should be because the wages are pretty horrible at places like McDonald's and any fast food retail establishment. So McDonald's says, you know what, we're not going to continue to raise your wages. What we're going to do instead, though, is we're going to add a tipping option at the kiosks and at the till. I can see this happening. And this is one of the reasons why it's so expensive. Like just leaving your house, like coffee is a huge net spend for a lot of people, right? I try to drink as much coffee as I can at home. I brew my own coffee here, but I am someone who has 2 to 3 coffees a day. 3's like the limit. On a crazy day, I'll have 4 if I have, barely any sleep. But I usually pay for that with a headache later at night. But usually about 2 to 3 coffees a day. And I just hate drinking the same cup of coffee again and again sometimes. If I can just sustain myself with 1 cup of coffee, I can just have whatever I have at home. But, being self-employed, working for myself, it kind of gets me out of the house, which is good because sometimes I feel so cooped up inside here. But the problem is when I leave the house, it feels like I'm being price gouged on everything, right? Coffee shop. Well, there's $5, $6 at just a regular coffee shop. If you don't want to support places like Tim Hortons or McDonald's, then next thing you know, you're spending more money on a tip, and then there's tax on top of that. And then what if you want lunch as well, right? It feels like $20 is like the baseline now for lunch. That's the baseline. That's like before taxes now. It feels so insanely expensive to just live. And if you just look at what minimum wage costs are, what the wages are that people earn for minimum wage across the United States and in Canada, it really makes no sense anymore, right? Working for yourself is one of the only ways that I see fit now, because if you think about just the amount of money I'd be spending in gas just to go back and forth to work every day, the time, which is obviously a factor as well. Time is money, right? What if you're driving and there's an accident on the road, and now that ride that would normally cost you in time like 30 minutes is now like an hour? It's just living now in general. It's just, you feel like you're being squeezed everywhere you go. And it's getting to the point now where I understand why there's so much frustration with the cost of living, but just the way people live right now. We were never meant to have as many bills as we have, as many stresses we have. Even just sitting here, like there's bills that I have to pay just to sit inside here, right? Like there's a mortgage, there is property taxes, there's condo fees, there is heating, there is cooling, there is water, there's hydro, there's gas. Just sitting here right now, I'm spending money. So it's not even like when I just leave the house, just existing. You have to pay money to just simply exist. And people wonder why some homeless people just prefer to stay homeless. As horrible as that is to even imagine or think of. When you're homeless, you don't pay taxes. I mean, you don't pay property taxes either because you don't own a home. You're probably stressed out for just your daily survival, but you don't have all of those stresses that a normal person who works a 9-to-5 or any job has, just being in the rat race, really, right? It's just something I just thought about, and I thought it was an interesting subject to kind of ramble and rant on. And if you guys are in the same boat and you feel the same way that I feel right now, where every time you leave the house, you feel like you're being gouged or extracted out of your wallet in some form. And it's not even that. It's just sitting at home. Life is just so expensive right now. And I feel like it's been designed this way to squeeze as much money and energy out of you as possible. And it gets easier to do that too with the phone. Super easy to buy things on a phone. Even gambling right now, right? How many apps is there for gambling so they can extract more money from you? No wonder there's so much mental illness in today's day and age in society. It feels like we're set up to fail now. This new timeline, this new culture, society, it's just, you're set up to fail, it feels like, from day one. Anyways, guys, I feel like I've rambled long enough about the subject, so you leave your thoughts about the subject down below in the comment section, guys. Do you agree with me? If not, let me know. And I'll see you in the next one.